Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, Barbados is suggesting to its CARICOM counterparts the region can no longer work separately as member states seek to attract investment. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley shared the view at the opening of the 6th special meeting of the Council for Finance and Planning, or COFAP. Kishmar Singis reports.
Prime Minister Motley says as CARICOM members seek investment, they should not do it in a way that undermines each other's stability. To avoid this, she recommends a common community investment policy and code.
There is no doubt that we need to have our financial services architecture regulated by treaty arrangements, and indeed when we look at the investment policy code, that was first settled as far back I think as 2008 or 2009. So that we're talking about almost a decade in the wilderness in the absence of being able to settle some of these critical initiatives, that this meeting can bring us closer to settling and signing off on them, that we can enhance the ability of our citizens to be able to access credit by putting a framework in place that protects both the individual citizen as well as the financial institution.
The 6th COFAB meeting is one of 2 CARICOM meetings Barbados is hosting this week. In attendance were the Prime Ministers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as Finance Ministers from Jamaica and St. Lucia. Barbados's contingent was led by the Prime Minister. Chair of COFAB and Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda Gaston Browne suggests it is taking too long to finalize the instruments before the Council for years. He says the region must harness its resources, including human and financial. Tomorrow, Barbados's Prime Minister will chair the 9th Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on the CSME.
Instead of flagging and flogging the issues, let us recommit to a more efficacious implementation of regional policy initiatives. Even as we procrastinate, outside forces are also contributing to our challenges. The financial services sector in CARICOM states is part of our diversification efforts and is a significant revenue stream in assisting our developmental thrusts. It is now under threat as it confronts the rapidly changing regulatory landscape in the sector and international tax matters.
Tomorrow, Barbados's Prime Minister will chair the 9th Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on the CSME.
Thanks, Kishmar. We're also hearing tonight that vending in the environs of the Constitution River Terminal is posing several problems, and the Transport Authority is seeking to meet with vendors in this regard. That's the word from Chairman of the Authority, Ian Estwick.
It is certainly not our intention to displace the vendors, as we recognize that this activity is ingrained in our culture and must be supported where possible. The area, as it is now, presents several challenges and risks, including fire, security, and health. We intend, as soon as the CRT is up and running, to meet with the vendors to see how best their area can be aesthetically improved.
Meanwhile, the Transport Authority has met with a number of technology companies and individuals to review systems that provide real-time monitoring. Mr. Estwick says such technology will allow them to monitor PSVs on the roads.
These systems will allow the authorities' personnel and the police officers at the CRT outposts to monitor any on-road infractions by PSVs, including speeding, dragging, not stopping at designated bus stops, going off-route, and the like. It will also allow us to see firsthand any accidents or mass casualty events involving PSVs and allow us to alert first responders in a quicker time than currently exists. We will also be shortly offering commuters smart tickets, which will be available in single or multi-use forms and via an app on cell phones.
The winner of CBC's 2018 Socotologist MQI Mazda Challenge has officially been revealed. She is a 26-year-old resident of Flat Rock, St. George. Ryan Broom has more.
Meet Shannon Wiggins, The young woman who braved intense sunshine and occasional light rain for just over 25 hours in CBC's recent Mazda Challenge promotion to emerge victorious from a field of 19 other competitors. Now, as the saying goes, to the victor go the spoils, and she officially received the keys to her brand new Mazda 3 prize during a presentation ceremony at McInerney Quality Incorporated in Wildy. During the Mazda Challenge, Shannon and the other competitors had to continuously keep at least one of their hands on a brand new 2018 Mazda 3, with the competitor who was able to do so for the longest time emerging victorious. And Shannon, who was a lone female in the challenge, is overjoyed at having persevered, especially since it was the first time ever she won anything, and to add to her joy, she also recently celebrated her birthday.
Right now I'm inside shaking. I don't think y'all can see it on the outside, but I'm inside shaking. Other than that, I feel very pleased about it. I went through a kind of bit of torture with the sun especially, but I prevailed.
In congratulating the winner, service manager with MQY, Margaret Hoyt, says they were happy to be a part of the promotion.
When they were doing the challenge, I think we looked at the black car and the red car, and I went outside that experience for myself. And putting your hand, it can last more than 5 minutes, really, so congratulations to you. Again, you're winning a wonderful 2018 Mazda 3, Sky Active, fully loaded, so you have everything in that car. Push button start, air conditioning, power windows, everything that you could need in a car. So congratulations, and again, you have the Bryden's insurance for 1 year free on the car as well.
Also speaking during the ceremony, CBC's acting general manager Rod London says the competition was a reflection of the corporation's continued efforts to give something back to the community.
One of the key components of the media business is audience engagement. And when we do that effectively, we provide an advertising vehicle for our clients and wider corporate Barbados to reach more Barbadians. We are happy that the Mazda Challenge was able to achieve that. Approximately 60,000 entries were returned, which means there was quite a bit of activity among our participating sponsors. The contest itself captured attention from the very first ad and gained even more attention after 20 individuals from among the 60,000 entries were chosen to compete in the extreme competition to see who would drive away the beautiful Mazda 3 car.
Meanwhile, Shannon doesn't presently have a driver's license, so her mother, Selena Brown, will be the one behind the wheel until she gets started on those all-important driving lessons. A hearty congratulations again to you, Shannon. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
A veteran band leader wants the National Cultural Foundation to do more to hold Kadooment bands accountable for what they promise patrons. Leader of Contact Band Anthony Lane says when a band fails to deliver on its promise, it has implications for the country as a whole. His comments come less than a month after the Fair Trading Commission received several complaints that 2 Grand Kadooment bands may have breached the Consumer Protection Act.
I think that the NCF now got to look at it totally differently now and say, look, we got to make sure that the bands, when you say you're bringing a band, that you do whatever is possible to make sure that the band hits the road, make sure that the band members have their costume, you know, because if that does not happen, then there is a problem. Then we all are affected by it, not just that particular band.
Mr. Lane also believes many people don't realize the way revelers jump for Kadooment has changed.
I hear people talk about people getting judged and people entering through the stadium. People are really worrying about that anymore. People want the makeup done, they want to look pretty. They want to be pretty on the road, they want to do the selfies of any pictures they're taking, they want to look pretty and be glamorous, and you can't fault them for that. That's what it's all about. You know, so it is a totally different experience now to what it was years ago.
The new Minister for Elder Affairs, Cynthia Ford, has high praise for home help workers. This as she delivered the feature address at a church service over the weekend to celebrate the National Assistance Board's 38th anniversary. Ms. Ford says the home helpers are the frontline workers and are valuable assets to the organization.
Many Barbadians do not know what the home health workers have to endure on a daily basis. Some of them treat 3 and 4 clients a day. Some of them have to take the bus and walk from one village to the next. Some of them go into homes where people are down with Alzheimer's and they accuse them of everything under the sun except being alive. And therefore, people see them and think it's an easy job. They only do a little thing here and a little thing there, but they do not understand the extent. And Ms. Sharon, unless you go out there and your team help to trumpet what your institution is doing, Barbadians will never understand.
Ms. Ford says she's also looking forward to setting up programs to help men. She says with the number now standing at almost 500, men make up the most of the homeless people on the streets. Students from primary and secondary schools across Barbados are becoming more familiar with their heritage. This is thanks to Heritage Champions, an initiative conceptualized by the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. With its junior curators program still going strong since 1991, the museum has signed a memorandum of understanding with the City of Bridgetown Cooperative Credit Union to nurture the undertaking, which is now in its 2nd year. Claire Perry is the creator of Heritage Champions.
It is a 10-week after-school program designed to promote heritage awareness within secondary schools and to provide an exciting platform by which participants can engage their curiosity about both local and international heritage and culture. In our 1st year, the program had 16 participants who successfully completed the program and demonstrated their experience through a final project which they designed and implemented themselves. The project was a heritage hunt of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, particularly the Garrison.
And COB President Henderson Williams says his organization is more than just a financial one and continues to support the youth.
Together we stand at the threshold of a new and compelling initiative, an initiative that has never been done before, one that ensures that all students are led to embrace knowledge, culture, identity, and an understanding of the role they must play in building a productive society.
That investigations are continuing into the shooting of 2 young males, including a 13-year-old. A firearm was reportedly retrieved from the scene.
It was late afternoon on September 2nd when the sleepy Deramo community in Moshi Grosele was rudely awakened by unmasked, armed gunmen. 13-year-old Rohan Louison and his 19-year-old cousin Callis Benjamin were both shot in the melee. While police are working to determine a motive, one Deramo resident believes Callis Benjamin may have been the victim of a reprisal attack over a long-standing dispute.
They had an argument. They were arguing, and after the shots started firing and the innocent child died, I mean, he was standing right there where the vehicle is parked, and he died. I mean, they shot him at the back of his head, but all lower down the road they had shots bursting.
Rohan reportedly died at the scene. He had been riding his new bicycle with the other neighborhood children before the gunfire erupted. News 4 spoke with Rohan's mother, Natalie Edward, who said she helplessly watched as her 13-year-old child struggled to breathe.
When I arrived, I saw a lot of people there, and I just saw my son lying lifeless on the ground in a pool of blood. And when I watched him, I saw he bleeding through his nose, his mouth, and I touched his wrist to check his pulse. I see he had all the vital signs was negative. This week already, so I realized he was dead.
The International Organization of Migration is satisfied with the pace at which roofs are being reconstructed in Dominica post-Hurricane Maria. Efforts were hampered by a lack of skilled personnel. We have more in a report from Marpin Television.
The roofing and courthouse project of the IOM started a few months ago, with the organization focusing on communities in the northeast and northwest. One of the major challenges affecting the project was the shortage of skilled labor in the country. Team leader Jan Willem Wigdam says despite the initial challenges, the organization has covered an impressive number of houses.
We celebrate that we passed the 600 roof mark. Super happy with that. We've been pushing, especially because we realized that the peak of the hurricane season is coming in September, October, and November. We pushed everything to the limit so that we could shelter as many people as possible. It's also part of our obligation to the donors because they ask us, or we agreed to finalize our programs, or the majority of our programs at the end of September. So we really pushed it, and we're happy that we got so far within the limited time.
Wegdam was speaking at the launching of the IOM-led Basic Carpentry Skills Workshop in the Roseau South constituency. In order to combat the shortage of skilled labor, the IOM launched a series of basic carpentry workshops in Dominica. Government Senator and head of the Roseau South Housing Committee, Josiah Benoit, said young people in the area will benefit from the hands-on training being provided.
Trinidad and Tobago soca artist Olatunji Ola Yearwood is receiving a wave of support following his appearance on the new season of the UK's top reality talent show, The X Factor. He wowed the judges, including Simon Cowell and Robbie Williams, with his energetic performance of his 2018 song Bodyline. Now, Olatunji says he was doing his part to take soca to the world, as we hear in this report from CNC3 television.
Social media is still abuzz after this performance on the UK's X Factor. Yearwood says he chose the widely acclaimed show because of its international appeal.
It's a huge platform for the art form, for music, to see an artist who sings, vocalists, entertainers. It's a huge platform.
He says he was not concerned about being too different or being misunderstood.
The competition always have a kind of alternative setting, and this year they want to bring something new and funky and Caribbean. So they said they wanted me to bring that kind of energy and that kind of Caribbean vibe.
And about the crowd's reaction?
It was amazing to see, especially from the judges and even the audience, but the judges, they really appreciated and they said it, and they really liked the vibes.
He says the reaction here at home has also been overwhelming.
I wasn't expecting it this crazy. I know we'll like the hype and all these things because, you know, there's vibes and things, but real genuine love from everybody. Like, they're really proud.
And his plans for moving forward in the competition is to bring more of the Ola factor.
My thing is to keep it Caribbean, keep it Tunji, keep it excited, keep it excitement, you know what I'm saying, all the time. And that's just the vibe.
And sports is coming up next, but before we get to that, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Before a hurricane, you should fill your vehicle with petrol so that it is available for emergency purposes in the event that gas stations are not working. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.